and welcome to another exciting edition of Hindsight is Horrifying, the podcast for the TV generation.
Hell yes.
I am an host. I know how much you love that bit, and it never gets old. Jason
My
Mitchell.
English degree is burning in the corner.
Good, you're getting some use out of it.
You bastard.
This is Jason Mitchell, and I'm here with my co-host.
Darth Jader.
And tonight, we are continuing our trip down Christmas Lane. Is that a thing? I don't know. With a very serious, very poignant movie.
Yes, this shook cultural phenomenon in the 90s.
It's a lot like It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes, but there's no slapping anyone until their ears bleed, so that's good.
Which is ironic.
Yeah, it is a little. Listeners, get excited because we are discussing a classic for some. 1996, it's Jingle All The Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger and, Sinbad. So, we've got some special guests here.
Don't rip on Sinbad. All right, you can.
I can, though. I can.
Phil Hartman.
Oh,
They're great.
We'll get there, and you heard his voice. You've heard it before, listeners. We have young Adam back in the studio with us.
Hi, everybody.
Finally,
I'm back.
a different Adam. Finally.
Back for my fourth appearance on the show. And speaking of the number 4, I was 4 years old when this movie came out. Hey-o!
Oh, that's why you're young Adam. Play the crickets.
What year did this come out?
1996.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I graduated high school that year.
I was still relatively young myself, but young Adam's got me beat for sure. And we also have a brand new special guest in the studio for your listening pleasure today, listeners. It is young Adam's girlfriend, Alyssa.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
She didn't want to be here, but she had to give him a ride.
That's a lie.
It's true.
It's
true.
I think I love this movie more than he does.
Oh, snap. I'm looking forward to that friendly competition for this
cinematic
episode.
masterpiece. This is why we're together.
Starring Phil Hartman and Sinbad. That's an era that the world will never see again.
And
Seriously.
Rita Wilson.
And
You mean
Martin
Tom Hanks'
Mull.
wife?
yeah, and we should probably go ahead and rip that Band-Aid off. Jake Lloyd.
Jake Lloyd. Darth Vader himself.
Yeah,
Darth Vader
Skywalker.
I don't know if I should call him Darth Vader, but
I mean, he didn't kill any younglings in this movie, so he's got that going.
I think
for him.
I think he's Darth Methamphetamine now.
It's all because he didn't get a Turbo Man.
Yeah.
Oh, my
That's what
If rumors
happens.
to be believed.
That's what happens when you have the real
genius.
Turbo Man at home.
Not the knockoff version from the Blue Light Special at Kmart. So, listeners, you were joining us for Jingle All The Way, so that's very exciting. Thank you for tuning into this extra special Christmas episode. And so we have to talk to the couple in the studio because I'm not sure what the process was for y'all's selection of the movie, so did y'all decide on this together, or who chose it and then coerced the other one into it? What happened?
Well, when I was given the option to choose a Christmas film, this was the first one that came to mind. So, take that as you will.
That's usually how we pick movies, too.
Yeah.
But I immediately went to Alyssa and I was like, hey, Jingle All The Way. She just looked right back at me. Jingle All The Way. Good choice.
That
We
was an
bonded
in-depth
over this movie.
process.
Aw.
We bonded over this movie. We watched it last year for Christmas. We just watched it again this year for Christmas. It's one of those movies where I brought it up one day and her eyes lights up. And it's a connection that we have.
Yes. And last year when we did our Christmas production at the theater that we do a lot of stuff with, we had matching Turbo Man t-shirts that we wore every day backstage, which was an experience for everybody else, to say the least.
That's adorable. See, I didn't even know that there was such a thing as Turbo Man merchandise until I started doing my research for this show today.
You got to go to the dark web.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, the CIA has all that stuff covered up.
Or
are they
if
hiding
you
it at Area 51? Was that one of the many things that are still hiding there?
Or you can go on Amazon and buy an actual Turbo Man doll for like $700.
Are you
Something like that.
kidding me?
No, it's a real thing. You can buy your own Turbo Man action figure, listeners. You can buy your own Turbo Man action figures
Sweet
with
Jesus.
the low price of $750.
Wow.
Jeez, and because what I found from my research is that Fox Merchandising originally released like 200,000 of the dolls when the movie came out.
As promotion, yeah.
And they sold out from Walmart. Like, it was a big deal, apparently. But they were only $25 a pop back in 1996, or whenever they released the dolls.
It is amazing to see the stuff from our childhoods because it wasn't one. We've had several childhoods in this room.
I'll say we're encapsulating several years.
But you look on eBay. I looked the other day. My mom was throwing out some stuff, and she found some of my old GI Joes.
Oh yes,
and they were in pretty terrible condition, you know, but I was like, hang on to them, we'll do something with them later. And I went and I wanted to see how much it would cost to buy. And I was thinking, what was the most expensive GI Joe that they ever made back in the day? And it was the aircraft carrier, the USS Flag.
I remember that one when I think my brother had it.
It was like, back then, I think it was like $150. I mean, it was huge. It was like 6
which is
feet
expensive
long.
considering the time. Yeah.
So I went on eBay just to see. I'm like, I wonder if I was the sort of person who just wanted to go buy a brand new mint in the box one. How much do those run on eBay? And $12,000.
Oh my God!
12 grand. Yeah, it's a used car or a GI Joe toy.
Right?
That's a tough decision.
I know, right? It's like I could sell my car.
What will you
get a
more mileage
bicycle?
out of?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, girls do the same thing. I mean, I go online and look at what my Polly Pockets would have gone for these days, or my Tamagotchis. For all you ladies who had a Tamagotchi in the 90s.
Well, that wasn't a girl's toy. Everybody had Tamagotchi.
You know what? That's true. Well, I started out with the Polly Pockets. That was really
What
one
is
of the
Polly Pockets?
It's these tiny little figurines, and they have tiny little houses and tiny little pets. It's just miniature dolls, basically. And
Really small.
It's a choking hazard, is what it is.
Literally, like they,
Yeah.
they were such tiny little figurines that they had to increase their size to make them more acceptable to actually market to small children, so that kids wouldn't choke on them or just swallow them all together.
Yeah, so now it's less likely to kill someone. That's
But
good.
yeah, so
Little
Polly
less.
Pockets go for an obscene amount of money on eBay, as well as Tamagotchis. I've seen Tamagotchis go for like $60 starting, depending on
Jeez.
what kind they are. And I've got two just sitting at home. So naturally, when I moved into my new house, I found all my old toys and whatnot, and I dug up my Tamagotchis, and I was like, wow, I could probably pay my next mortgage with these if I really wanted to. So
And speaking of toys, I do want to get back to the movie, but that does
Yes.
remind me. Have I told you what I'm going to do whenever I move out of my house?
yes, but you haven't told young
I
Adam and
haven't told
Alyssa,
them.
so maybe
No, I just thought this would be a very fun way of welcoming the new owners to the home. Is I'm going to go into the basement, I'm going to go into the crawl space,
This is so
and I'm going to
mean.
get a skeleton from the Halloween store and just shove it way in the back so that it'll be maybe like a year or two before they get back there and find it. And then imagine the fun they'll have.
Make sure to leave like some moth
so
on it.
much
You
fun.
gotta
I
leave
like the
something
way you
smelly.
think.
Yeah.
So it smells like something's been decaying in there.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I like your style.
On that cheerful note, let's get to the synopsis of the movie. So, Alyssa, why don't you tell us what this movie is about?
Oh gosh.
Just a quick couple of sentences. That's-
So Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a very terrible dad
Yes.
named Howie, who realizes on Christmas Eve that he forgot to buy his son the one Christmas present that he wanted, which was a Turbo Man action figure. Mm-hmm. Naturally, Christmas Eve, you forgot to buy the number one hottest toy.
he forgot the Tickle Me Elmo.
He
Yep.
forgot it,
Yeah,
and now he has to go on a journey trying to find a Turbo Man doll before Christmas.
And what kills me is that he really is, like you said, Howard's a bum of a dad, because
He's terrible.
you start the
Truly
movie out-
terrible.
Well, the 90s was kind of the decade of terrible dads.
Yes,
you
it
know?
was, yeah.
that was a trope, yes.
You got Robin Williams and Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
You got...
Oh, he wasn't a terrible dad. He was a terrible husband. There's a big
Okay.
difference.
Well, you also
Huge
got...
difference.
One would say that those two kind of go hand in hand.
No, he brought a real life pony into the house for a birthday party. That's some baller dad moves.
Yeah.
Well, you also got Jim Carrey in Liar Liar, and then you got
Yeah.
Howard in
true.
Jingle All The Way, which
It-
is just as classic as Mrs.
Yeah.
Doubtfire. But anyways,
But
Oh my.
what that synopsis that you just said of the movie though, that is literally okay. You can see that at a production meeting. It's about a dad. He was supposed to get the number one toy in America. He didn't. He realizes it on Christmas Eve. Boom, there's your movie. Go film it.
What do we shoehorn in between these realizations and these moments
Yeah.
to give it a more substantial story? So
Yeah.
to that end, I do agree with you, Alyssa, because Howard is a bum of a dad. Like the movie starts out, his little boy's about to go earn his purple belt in karate class, and
Yeah.
come on, kids, we gotta go to Tina's karate concert. But yeah, so Howard misses. The karate class, despite numerous reminders from his wife, from his secretary, from everyone in God's free world. Hey, your kid's earning his purple belt. You better stop what you're doing. And I love this moment. He's kind of a bad husband too, because he's telling all of his clients, "Oh yeah, of course."
But don't worry.
He slept with the maid.
Don't worry. You're his number one customer.
Yeah, but he even
that was
says that to
real
his
life,
wife.
sorry.
Yeah, you're confusing the
Yeah,
lines.
sorry, that was real life. Sorry.
But he does, because Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks'
man.
wife in real life, is his
Tom
wife.
Hanks' wife, yeah.
Yes, she gets on the line with him, and she's like, "Listen, Jamie's karate thing is in.
Hi,
half an
honey.
hour. You're my number one customer.
You're my number one customer. Wait, no, Liz, that's not what I meant.
Spot on, Mr. Darby.
Here
Spot
we
on.
go.
I
Love
think he was a much better father in Commando.
Oh, no.
Yes. Feeding the deer the ice cream.
He killed 100 men to
Yeah.
save his daughter in that
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, my God.
Alyssa Milano. Was that her?
Yeah, it was Alyssa Milano. It was totally
I'm
Alyssa
sorry,
Milano.
but
Yeah.
I'll pose this question to the men in the room. What man, living or dead, wouldn't kill 100 men to save Alyssa Milano?
That's fair.
Oh, you wouldn't?
You wouldn't?
She's not
I don't know.
not your taste? No?
Yeah. She's yeah.
I love Alyssa Milano, so.
I thought she was like a thing for guys pretty much universally. I thought every
She
guy
used to
had a
be.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just a little
And,
outdated.
Yeah, she
Not so much anymore.
yeah.
Wah, wah.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
so,
certainly a case of personality ruining whatever cosmetic appeal somebody has.
Oh, wow.
She's doing
Yeah.
better than Jake Lloyd,
So
though.
she went
Yes.
above the line on the crazy quotient, pretty much
Yes.
hot to
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay. Well, so and,
Ichonowonga. Sorry. That's all I can think about when I see that little shit.
leave it alone.
I'm a person, and my name is Anakin.
No. Your name is Jamie.
Jamie!
Jamie!
I got the doll right here.
But so yeah, Arnold
He
does
knows my name.
Turbo Man. It's turbo time. But yeah, so Arnold, and that is yet another part of what makes him such a terrible dad is that he misses the karate belt lesson, and that's a big deal to his kid. But he goes out of his way to discuss, Jamie, is there a way I can make it up to you? Is there a special gift I can get you for Christmas that would make all of this right again? That would make us square? And yeah, it's Turbo Man. That's not just the
Never
present.
ask a child a question like
just
that.
such a
That's
loaded
so
question,
Stupid. Yeah, I want a car.
Well, they didn't say a car that runs. Get them
Oh,
some
that's true.
Matchbox cars.
That's true.
See, this is why I don't need to be a mom ever. I'm terrible.
So you notice how much shade Jamie throws at his dad in this movie? He's
So
like,
much.
He's like, but I made the yellow, but you missed
missed
purple. You missed all of these different colors.
And
You
I made
miss blue.
Oh, you didn't go last year to the parade or the year
before
before.
that. But Mom and I go every year.
Well, you
Yeah,
can tell that he's
kid.
a mama's boy because he gives his
Yeah.
dad the silent treatment like a damn ninja.
And it gives him death glare, the death Darth Vader glare.
Yeah, I guess I'll stop working, and so we can't afford this massive house and all the things and everything else
Seriously.
like that. Yeah,
well,
go to
he's
hell,
Turbo
yellow.
Man in the parade every year now. I'm sure that'll pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, spoiler alert! But
So we're at the pivotal scene in the film where his wife just asked him if he got the doll, and Arnold's totally in the most 90s way lying ever. Of course, I got the doll with the rock'em sock'em jetpack, and the realistic voice box that says, "It's turbo time." I got it. And then
and Rita Wilson just believes him. For
Rita
some
Wilson
reason.
just goes along with it.
even though he's he's a bum. Like
He's notorious for lying. They
Yeah.
say that several times.
and he's
that
wildly
never done it.
unreliable. Like
Yeah.
he's never there when he says he's going to be. None of that. And then he has to go to the office. Oh, just kidding. I left the doll at the office. I'll be back later with it. And then he's gone for like 12 hours.
The funny thing is in that scene is he goes, "I got to get the DOLL." I'm like, your kid
is
reads comic
stupid.
books. He
Your
knows
kid's
how
like
to spell. You've got an 8-year-old, and then they shoot to him, and it's like he didn't hear any of that. But he
Yeah.
said it really loud, and he spelled.
Listen, he didn't hear it because he was busy eating his Turbo Man Turbo O's.
Well, again, that's the production
Turbo
meeting.
O's.
Yeah,
in
that's
Was it
his
really
Turbo
Turbo
Man
Man cereal?
pajamas.
that's the production meeting with just have him spell it. The kid won't hear it.
There you go.
Move on. Next scene.
Oh, look,
We
it's
need- we
Ted
need
and
to-
Ted.
Good old Ted.
We got to get to Phil Hartman.
Ted and Ted. Oh
and
God.
Ted.
I got such good dirt on Phil Hartman. He apparently didn't
Don't
even
you talk
care for
smack about Phil
No,
Hartman.
not in real life.
Phil
Just
Hartman's
the
a
character.
legend.
Yeah.
Ted is such a tool. Like even Phil Hartman didn't
God,
like him.
Ted.
Yeah, it was like a thing about how he described the character. He's like, oh, it's just one of the many weasels that I played in Hollywood, because Phil Hartman was kind of pigeonholed into roles like that.
Phil Hartman always played like the jerk who knew everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Fair.
But
That's
I saw
fair.
on Mental Floss, Phil Hartman described Ted. He said, Ted is a guy who sued his employer for headaches caused by toner fumes and now hangs around the neighborhood and helps all the housewives. Ted's another weasel to add to my list of weasels. So he's not fond of him either.
That's more than I knew about Ted.
I mean,
if you're good at a thing, Hollywood's gonna just that's what they do.
that's true.
Yeah, we've discussed
true.
typecasting on the show multiple times.
Hey,
you're
Arnold-
guaranteed some work. So,
Arnold Schwarzenegger just escaped typecasting here with this family film.
and you know why?
No, he did that with Junior.
Oh God!
Oh, Junior.
Oh wow, the best of his comedies. Ugh.
Oh,
Oh my!
Yikes.
One day I'll talk about Junior.
But do we know why he wound up doing
It's not
Jingle
your
All the
fault.
Way?
No, why?
Because he was supposed to be in the remake of Planet of the Apes, which eventually starred Marky Mark.
Ugh.
But
Oh.
production
was
got
bad.
hauled, people kept leaving or entering the project, and finally Arnold left the project as well.
just imagining people walking into a room and seeing the script for Planet of the Apes and turning around and walking right out of the room again.
Marky Mark took it. That should tell you something.
That should tell you something.
So the point of the
How'd you
story...
guys are remaking Planet of the Apes? I want to be a part of it, okay?
Absolutely. I'm a serious actor. I don't just drop my pants for Calvin Klein anymore, you guys.
I'm ditching the funky bunch, okay?
But yeah, so Arnold actually left the project for Planet of the Apes, and that freed him up to do Jingle All the Way. So that's how he wound up
You're
doing
telling
this
me
family
Arnold
movie.
didn't just read the script and say, I got to be a part of this movie?
Well, initially there was a better director on the project, and as things got halted and stalled and whatever, the director left. And so Arnold subsequently left as well and wound up doing this better movie.
It's a gem of a movie.
It
This
is.
is a cinematic masterpiece that defined a generation.
Yeah.
We'll delve into that, why don't you?
Well,
Like Pogs and
it's more than just
Slammers.
Slammers.
Polly Pocket.
on the surface. It's a fun family Christmas adventure, but it really is a deep commentary on American consumerism and its effect on middle class America during a very relevant time during the Tickle Me Elmo craze.
It's another,
Cut your hair, hippie. Okay.
this is another movie that needs a Werner Herzog audio commentary
Oh,
track.
absolutely it does.
Here we see Arnold Schwarzenegger playing the father. He is a slave to the dollar. He must go and find the toy.
Oh, in comes Sinbad, the
Myron the mailman.
the insane
Women
mailman.
be different from men.
Listen, everybody who works for the post office is a little unstable.
They all go postal eventually.
This is
Well-
his version of going postal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he went to junior college for a semester, so he knows what he's talking about.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he took philosophy for that semester or quarter or whatever time he was
Well,
there.
and Sinbad was not even close to the first choice for this part.
Really?
Was
Who
he
was?
Really?
There were concerns, like Sinbad himself even had concerns that he didn't want to play a villain
Yeah.
because he had an image to protect.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He did?
The great Sinbad had an image to protect.
Sorry, I just spat out my beer a little bit. What?
No, and apparently he was on a USO tour in Bosnia because that was going on back then.
Yes, they actually waited for
Yeah,
him
they
to come
waited,
back
yeah.
from his tour with Hillary Clinton. Yes.
He auditioned and he thought that it was like the worst audition he had ever given, and he was like, "Well, that was a waste of time."
and he was ready to quit the business over it. Like,
Wow.
not just
Yeah.
this audition, but just in general. Yeah.
Over his audition for
Yeah.
Jingle All the Way.
and he got the part. So
Well, I say what you will about this film, which we'll get into later, but Sinbad gives it his all. I mean, Sinbad probably is one of the comedic highlights of this film.
I don't know. For me, he comes off really annoying, especially when he
hey,
starts.
Chris Parnell,
Yes, in his very first film.
Chris Parnell.
oh, the baby.
Aw, look at the baby.
Hottest selling Christmas toy ever.
Well, Sinbad, and look, everybody likes to give him shit because that's what happens. But how many comedians out there never made it to being in a movie opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was getting paid $20 million?
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
It's like we were talking about on the Fire in the Sky episode. We were
Yes.
talking about, oh, look at that, Bob, pathetic actor who's done so many more movies
Than
than
I
me,
will
than
ever
I
do.
ever will.
Yeah.
Well,
It's easy to sit, and you're right, he gives it his all. And Sinbad typically gave it his all. I mean, he was a talented guy. There's a reason he was popular.
I mean, this movie has a pretty solid cast overall.
Well, and this moment right here was pretty important for Chris Parnell because apparently he said since it was his first movie role, he wasn't really used to how they would typically shoot a scene. So when they were shooting, he said he had to laugh a lot because he's literally laughing in Arnold's face when he's there for Turbo Man, and they don't have anymore. They're all sold out. He said, I had to laugh a lot, and I sort of spent all of my laughing energy in the wider takes. So by the time it got to the close-up shots, it was a huge struggle for him to really get that laughter going again.
Yeah.
So that was apparently an uphill climb for poor
Well, he
Chris
has the
Parnell.
best laugh in this movie. So good.
I'm a huge
His man's
fan of,
impressions are just spot on. I'm loving it.
I'm a huge fan of cock, and my name is
Cyril Figgis.
High five.
To crickets for the rest of the room, but we know what we're talking
The
about.
right people just got that joke.
There's a certain number of listeners who are like, oh.
That happens a lot on this show. Other people just get mad at us. But so the woman that Sinbad actually just choked out in line for wearing, not even for wearing fur. She's wearing a fur coat, and he's starting to get into the whole consumerism and how you're a bad dad the one day a year that you don't get the right toy. And he gets so worked up that he starts choking this poor woman while they're waiting in line for Turbo Man. And then she's the one woman who was smart enough to have the last Turbo Man on layaway. So they're both trying to chase her down the street.
And somewhere there's a young Jeff Bezos watching it going, I can fix this. I can solve this problem. It's the origin story of Amazon.
God.
Oh, man.
Jake Lloyd became Jeff Bezos.
Yep. He sure did.
I just
But with the
love
meth problem.
it. I just love the fact that it keeps showing like a montage of him going to all of these different toy stores, and they're all like, but don't worry, we have Booster.
Yeah,
like
the
nobody
saber-tooth
likes
tiger.
Booster.
Nobody likes you, Booster.
We hate you, Booster.
We hate you, Booster.
Well, I think we should touch a little on the whole Turbo Man derivation, really, because the movie starts out in the midst of a Turbo Man skit, and it's so Power Rangers it hurts. Like Turbo Man.
Oh, yeah.
Go, Demon Team.
Yeah. Mighty Morphin.
Turbo Man.
It's sort of Mighty Morphin Power Flash, because he looks like the Flash.
But with
Kinda,
yeah.
Kind of, with a jetpack.
Yeah.
You can
The
always count on me.
He's like the Flash meets Iron Man. with
Yeah.
the
He is like
flying
Iron Man,
abilities.
yeah.
And he's got those discs that he throws at people, and then he's got like a pet saber-tooth tiger that is completely useless, aka Booster. And his arch nemesis is Dementor.
Dementor.
Yes.
I got the bigger brain.
Who plays Dementor? You remember?
Oh my
Ooh,
God.
I don't know
have
that
this
one.
in my notes. Richard Mall.
Richard Mall.
Yes.
Bull Shannon himself.
I'm going to pretend I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, there's
Oh
so
my
many famous
God.
people in this movie. You've got
Really? You don't know who Richard Mall is?
explain it
No
to the
idea.
young guns in the
Oh
studio.
my God.
I was 4
I'm
when this
so-
came out.
Sorry.
Well,
Do
before
some research.
before you were born, there was a show called Night Court,
Yes.
Okay.
and God, I have to explain this. He played Bull on Night Court, big guy, the bailiff with the bald head, and he was on the first episode of Highlander, the TV series,
Yes.
Ooh.
and he was in a few like weird sword and sorcery movies, like low budget things. But
Night Court is probably his
Night Court is what everybody knows.
most
him from.
important role.
Jingle All The Way probably his second biggest role. Yeah.
Yeah,
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so but like I said, there are a lot of big names in this movie. There, like we said, there's Phil Hartman, there's Sinbad. We already covered all that. But then Jim Belushi makes an appearance.
He
as
does.
Mall Santa, which I didn't realize when I was a younger person watching this
Skeezy,
movie.
criminal
Skeezy,
Santa,
gross mall
underground,
Santa.
sells
Yeah.
illegal toys underground. Yeah.
Not really playing much against type there.
No, you've got Harvey Korman. He makes an appearance.
I think you mean the great Harvey Korman.
The great Harvey Korman, and he's the president in the beginning with Turbo Man.
Oh,
where,
yes.
Turbo Man
A lot
saves
of
his son.
celebrities in that TV sequence at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
So while Arnold is searching through every toy store in the city to find this Turbo Man doll,
Yes.
we also have to remember the threat that is Ted trying to overtake his marriage.
Yep.
Trying to move in on the wife.
You know,
Heyo.
putting his hands around her waist to take off the apron slowly.
Why don't you go upstairs and take a shower, Liz? I'll make the sugar cookies. I know. Bake until golden brown into 12 minutes. He's such a tool.
Oh, these cookies.
Your wife's cookies are amazing.
Well, you know,
Hey,
she's
can
up
you
in the
go and get my
shower.
wife? Yeah. Oh, I think she's in the shower. Do you want me to go check?
No!
it occurs to me, Darth, it occurs to me that Ted almost seems like the sort of like a supernatural
I hate you
being,
so much.
like the universe put him there to motivate Arnold into the right. You know what's really important
quit.
here. You know,
Bye, guys.
I think we, He could be, in fact, the old man from Home Alone, just sort of regenerated.
What?
Yeah, see, he goes from timeline to timeline.
No, he becomes the old man after this Christmas is a failure. This is the Christmas that prompted him to murder his family with the snow shovel and put them in the salt bucket.
Right, okay.
There you go. See, I just tied it together.
He does say that his children don't talk to him, and it's probably because he's not the real Turbo Man at home.
Right. Oh, that's deep. Oh man. That just gave this movie a whole other level of substance. But so genius. But
Cookies.
so we do have to kind of bring up Sinbad again, because at the toy store they basically start this rivalry, this ongoing cut of like, oh, we're fighting and then we're not. Like, it's Arnold by himself trying to find the toy, but then every time he runs into Sinbad, they're fighting over which one of them is going to get the last Turbo Man for their son.
I love how quick they go back and forth between friends and enemies, because they'll be like enemies 1 second and then Sinbad's like, I was just kidding back there in the heat of the moment. Let's be partners. Never mind, we got to go get this Turbo Man doll. I'm going to kill you. He pushes him in the ice. And then they go to the diner and then they bond over drinks. And then the second they hear Turbo Man on the radio, they're enemies again.
Yeah, it switches back and forth pretty
like
fast.
They're like bounty hunters, It's like, we might be friends, but we both have this contract, and you're my friend now, but I'm still going to get it.
Still gotta get my Turbo Man doll from my son.
Nobody could decide what tone of movie to make, and so they just did both.
Well, it's got those. You gotta have those Arnold moments where he's pushing people around and fighting and tussling a little bit. But yeah, like Sinbad did kind of annoy me a little bit because he brought up all this like racial stuff in a kids movie, and I don't know if that was improvised or if it was scripted.
Well, he improvised a lot.
Okay, see,
and
I believe it.
I honestly can tell he improvised. I love the scene where he's like, "That's racism. That's what Jesse Jackson was talking about."
Oh my god!
Like, I love that scene.
Well,
it's so
the
funny.
interesting thing about him doing the improv is that it forced Arnold to improv, which is not
not his strong suit, I would imagine.
Oh, he probably not. Bench pressing is probably Arnold's strong suit. But
there's even a line about that where Phil Hartman,
you can't bench press your way out of this one.
Yes, ma'am. But we prove that is so incorrect later, because all he has to do is put on a Turbo Man suit, fly around like Turbo Man, save the day, and his wife is like, "Yep, that's my husband."
She's like,
"He's super hot. Does everybody see this?
I
That's
got
my husband."
I got the real Turbo Man at home in the bedroom.
Hell yes, she does.
Listen, I do not blame her.
Hey Liz,
she gets the turbo boost.
Hey Liz,
Oh,
it's turbo time, Liz.
oh.
And it's not a kids movie anymore, Hindsighters. You are welcome.
It's not.
Well,
she saw that opening scene from the Terminator where you can see the Terminator Wang flapping around.
Oh yeah,
which
it's a nice night for a walk.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I'm so glad they remastered that movie to really bring that out that no one noticed before when they saw the movie, and now it's like, oh, it's remastered. Oh, there's his dong.
I love watching Terminator on Blu-ray and HD, and now seeing Arnold's dong.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I needed that remastered effect. That's what I needed.
Listen, I watched The Terminator for the first time like this weekend. What? I know. Apparently, I had a very deprived childhood.
This is why she's on the newbie microphone, listeners, just so you're, in case you're wondering.
But Adam corrected it. Young Adam corrected it. And he corrected it with the remastered new version.
Oh,
with 80% more dong?
With 100% more dong.
I did that for you.
Thank you. Aww. I appreciate it.
That is a man
That's
who is
true
secure
love.
in his masculinity.
Look,
right there.
we paid for the dong. We're going to film the dong.
But yeah, so we get a bunch of sequences in this movie that arguably could have been cut. I mean, I know what a young Adam is trying to say, where it's really talking about the rampant consumerism and it's taken over the true spirit of the holiday. I really get that, and they really
so
go
many
to
commercials,
extra pains to illustrate that. Where Arnold's chasing now this bouncy ball that would have gotten him a Turbo Man at the toy store,
the world's bounciest ball,
to the point where he's like grabbing this kid, trying to get the bouncy ball out of her mouth. Like it gets a little weird.
Yes,
I'm not a pervert. I just want a Turbo Man doll.
Yeah, that's every guy's excuse.
Yeah, which when we watched this again last night, just to like refresh our memories and everything. Not that you could ever forget this movie. Adam was like, would you react the same way that mom did? And I was like, absolutely.
If a strange man was grabbing my child's
strange
face,
man is trying to smush my daughter's face and then saying, I'm not a pervert, he's a pervert.
And then, Jeffrey Epstein was standing next to him going, yeah, me too. That's my story.
Oh, gross.
I forgot how aggressively Arnold grabs the little girl's face to get the ball out of her mouth.
Well, Arnold's, he's a big, brawny man. It's not like he's, I don't know. I've only ever seen him grab things aggressively. He's usually grabbing a guy's throat or punching a guy or whatever. Okay, Arnold, what would the direction have there been? Like, all right, Arnold, just gingerly touch her cheeks. Like, that's where it gets creepy.
How would you grab your own child's face?
Just pretend.
I'm going to do it the same way I did it.
You mean I have to touch my child? No.
Pretend it's the deer from Commando. Okay?
Well, have you ever noticed that every time Arnold says hi or hey to somebody in this movie, it's incredibly creepy?
He smiles like a crazy person.
Hey, honey. Hey, buddy. Hey, little girl. It's so weird.
I got a shiny red ball.
I got a shiny red ball. You want to trade?
Well, in this scene right here, Jason reminds me of Night Shift when poor Henry Winkler gets beaten.
Oh, yeah. By the
beaten to death by the Bluebells with their cookie boxes.
I love Night Shift.
His moms with purses beating the holy
did you
hell.
hear that, by the way? Did you hear what he just said?
No.
Say that again. Repeat what you just said. You
Which
love what movie?
I love Night Shift.
Whoa.
Night Shift's
Young
great.
Adam knows Night Shift. That's impressive.
It was Ron Howard's directorial debut, and it starred the Fonz, and it was Michael Keaton's breakout.
Yes, indeed.
I love this kid.
Yes,
I really
indeed.
do. That's why we love Young
great
Adam.
movie. Way better than 10 Things I Hate About You. Moving on.
Bite me. No, he's baiting me right now. You have to listen to our Battle Royale
You
episode.
can't say that around me and Alyssa.
It's Vern Troyer.
I'm sorry, which movie won the Battle Royale? 10 Things I freaking hate about you. Yeah, deal with it.
Yeah,
it was 10 Things I Hate About You
wasn't
versus... Okay.
You were
Night Shift, I guess.
Night Shift.
No.
I was really drunk during that episode, though.
No, but like going back to the whole moment where Arnold is called a perv and all that, I got sort of a disturbing note about Phil Hartman in this movie because when at the scene later where he's driving Liz and their boys to the Wintertainment Parade, right?
Yes.
Is that the name? Okay. So Hartman apparently was like known for joking on the set, and he was really popular with the little kids because he would make up like inappropriate lyrics and songs and stuff to keep them entertained because they were sitting in that car for hours. And so the kids were just sitting there with nothing to do. And it says Hartman improvised songs designed to bring kids to hysterics. One of the tunes contained the lyrics, "You make my butt shine, the more you kiss it, the more it shines. The clock is ticking, so keep on ticking. Oh, how you make my buttocks shine." And I was like, that is the skeeziest thing I'm going to hear for quite a while.
That's really weird.
I need independent verification of that story.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I found it on Mental Floss, so it's pretty wedged in there. I'm just saying.
I'm a big Phil Hartman fan. I love his SNL stuff. Everyone always says that he was like, even though he always plays these jerks, everyone always says he was the sweetest dude in the world. So that kind of threw me for a loop that you told me that.
Well, you could see that on after he passed away. A lot of the tributes that they ran.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, I've seen a lot of
because he's got
TV
a sad
in Hollywood.
story.
Oh, he's got the saddest.
Yeah, it really is. But like looking at his co-stars just absolutely falling apart. I really do think that the people who worked with him genuinely liked him.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's this wacky SNL guy. Of course, he's going to be singing weird potty humor. And apparently, the kid who played his son said, "Oh yeah, when you're an 8-year-old hearing that kind of potty humor, it was hilarious. We had all sorts of I don't know."
I think that we're
Johnny.
I think we're looking back. With the lens of cynicism, and he was.
No, we don't do that on this podcast. What are you talking about?
He was just making a stupid joke.
Maybe.
I got a Turbo Man for Johnny months ago. It's nestled safely under our tree.
But yeah, he is just the resident neighborhood tool, and he's clearly in good with all the mothers in the neighborhood because when they're at the karate lesson at the beginning,
they're throwing themselves at him.
Oh yeah, Ted, I made you these cookies because you fixed my plumbing last week, or whatever the hell the mom says to him.
Personally, my favorite line of Phil Hartman's in this entire movie has to be, "Oh yes, I have the right tool for the job."
Oh man, we were watching it last night, Alyssa and I, and she noticed that line, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of innuendos in this movie.
Oh, big Big time.
that go well over kids' heads.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
also profanity, and it's
Oh,
like
God, yes.
back in the '90s when you could use profanity in a kids' movie and get away with it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the rules were a little bit looser back then. That's true. Especially we get to this operation with Jim Belushi, who's selling knockoff Mexican Turbo Men that fall apart when you bring them out of the box.
It's the bilingual version. It's fun and educational.
It's great. But I
Boy,
love.
there's a sad story though. Vern Troyer.
Oh,
that-
do you want to tell it? I was about to say,
No,
you
I
haven't touched
actually-
on any of the sad stories so far.
Is that Vern Troyer? Is Vern Troyer in this film?
Yeah, he's
the elf, isn't he?
He's. Hang on, I shall look.
You're verifying.
Good old
Yeah.
Dr.
Mini-Me.
Google,
I'll
paging Dr.
verify
Google. But yeah, so
Vern
back to
Troyer
this.
like Mini-Me. Okay.
Is it? No, that's not the same guy.
No, that can't be Mini-Me.
No. Not
Mini-Me was a
No,
little bit
he's
smaller.
Mini-Me is one of the Santas.
He is.
He is.
Yeah, he's the one that flies across the room. Isn't
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
that.
We thought you were talking
Yeah.
about the
We
elf
thought
guy.
we were talking
We're
about
like,
the
no,
main
it's
elf.
not the
no,
same
no,
Like that
sorry,
guy was
no.
on Seinfeld.
he? Yeah. No, the one that flies across the room.
Yeah, he's quote little buddy.
Little buddy.
Little buddy.
Yeah, the one that climbs on top of Arnold's head and starts pummeling his skull.
Yeah.
when,
A famous wrestler plays the giant buff Santa. It was Big Show. The Big Show plays the big Santa Claus in the
I'm
scene.
about to deck your halls, bub.
That's one of my favorite lines in the movie.
And they have like such a great, get out of jail free card for Arnold here because he causes this huge ruckus in this massive fight in the Santa's, ghetto shop.
Illegal Santa workshop.
Yeah, exactly. The ghetto South Pole or North Pole. And he's luckily for Arnold, he gets attacked by one Santa at a time, and they've got this great Indiana Jones moment right
Oh, I love
here,
it.
Yeah,
where
the
the candy
Santas
cane
are all
nunchucks.
the Santas are all chopping daikon.
Yes.
Yeah.
As the movie progresses, it gradually just descends into madness and turns into a complete cartoon.
Oh, absolutely.
Here
It's
we
great.
see the symbolism of the commercialized Christmas attacking the father as they try to destroy him.
So we got, I got a Kung Fu Santa. We got a very tiny little person Santa. And then we got, of course, Big Show, who's a famous wrestler at the time, playing the giant Santa who's about to deck Arnold's halls.
Ooh.
Yeah, that sounded dirty the way I said it.
Just a tad.
Bend over, boy.
But
I'm gonna deck your halls, bub.
smell like the inside of my mama's purse.
Merry Christmas. Oh. I'm about to jingle your balls.
See, there he is. There he is.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there he is. That's
Okay.
Vern Troyer, yeah.
Yeah.
All
He
right.
jumps onto Arnold's shoulder, and then Big Show accidentally punches him, and he flies cartoonly across the room.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you do. But yeah, so, and Arnold gets a great get out of jail free card because he's in the midst of this Santa pandemonium, and the cops busted up. And luckily there's like just this fake cop badge that he grabs and pretends to have been undercover in the Santa case for like the last 3 years or whatever it is. And you come in and bungalow this up. This is going to be the sloppiest bust I've ever seen. Like,
All
it's-
my years on the force. Yeah, and in reality, they would have been like, who are you? What's your badge number?
Yeah.
they would have done this thing called verification of identity.
Yeah, nobody verified it. They were just like, oh, big guy with a seemingly usual badge.
Hey, he bench
Yeah,
pressed his way out of
sure.
that situation.
He did.
There
He
you
Yes,
go.
he
did.
did. Yes,
And
he
then,
did.
clever editing, right after he waves the badge, he goes to the next scene, and he's totally fine.
Well,
Absolutely.
yeah. It's the last action hero, complex, Tar actually sticks to some people.
Oh, that's a great movie as well.
That is a great movie.
It's an underrated film.
It absolutely is. That's one of my favorite Schwarzenegger movies.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's so underrated. Ahead of
Yeah.
its time.
Never seen it.
See, I'm all about
Really?
erasure.
I need to.
Oh,
I
man.
know.
You would
I
like
need
Last Action Hero.
It's good.
It's
Yeah.
got a kid and it's a comedy. You'd like it.
You have to
But
continue
it
this
has-
woman's
to. Are
film
those the
education.
requirements for me?
For you, yes.
Apparently.
You're a big fan of Arnold's comedies,
I am.
Your favorite
I am.
Arnold movie is Kindergarten Cop.
And
It is.
Yeah, well, it's not a tumor.
Listen, no, my favorite line in Kindergarten Cop is, I'm not a policeman, I'm a princess.
Good line. Good line.
There you go.
I love it. That would be my kid. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Take a bow. Take a bow.
Thank you. I am.
But yeah, so now Arnold's day is just going from bad to worse. His car breaks down on the bridge, and
Well, he let his car run out of gas.
And doesn't the sun start to set at this time of year in Minnesota at like noon?
something like that.
Yeah. That is where it is. It's in Minnesota, right?
I think so.
I believe so. That in the whole reasoning behind filming up north was because they would have longer winters. Because they did actually film the parade sequence in California for like a 3-week shot, and it sucked because the suits and the coats and everything were so hot because it was supposed to be snowing and all Christmassy. But the real Turbo Man had one of those specialty suits that actually, with the little coils that like glide cold water through the suit to keep you cool.
Oh, that's nice.
And it was a little bit weird because he was like, "Oh yeah, the feel of it was amazing," and it's just like, "Okay, Turbo Man, chill
I'm
out."
wearing it right now.
Yeah,
It's turbo time.
he was one of the few people that didn't suffer the temperatures because Sinbad said that he was just steaming hot in his Dementor costume because it was 100 degrees outside when they were shooting in those costumes.
Yeah.
So they couldn't give him the water feature, not Dementor. Okay.
No, just the Turbo Man who appears for 30 seconds. Those suits are damn expensive.
Oh, you're referring to the TV Turbo Man. Gotcha.
Yes, correct.
Gotcha.
Just got a little splash of beer on my nose.
Poor timing there.
Sorry about that.
So is he about to lie to his son again?
No, he's about to
yell at him.
all the shade, all the silent treatment.
I've had it up to here with this Turbo Man. Now put your mom on the phone.
That's exactly what happens. Oh, and there's a great line because, and even Ted's son is kind of a pain in the ass because Jamie's like, "Your dad is so cool. He brought a reindeer over. He's giving hot cocoa to everybody in the neighborhood. I wish my dad was like that." And Johnny's like, "Oh, he didn't always used to be. Only after he divorced my mom. Hey, maybe your parents should get a divorce. Then your dad will be awesome."
That line is so sad.
It is. And to the point where Johnny even names the reindeer Ted after his dad.
I always thought that was incredibly weird that he named the reindeer Ted.
It is a bit odd.
Yeah.
I think a child therapist might.
But you know what?
see that over.
It gave us a really great line, which is when he asks Jamie, "Where's your mother?"
When Howard's on the
he
phone with him,
says, "Well, don't worry, she's outside petting Ted."
What?
another great line that flew over the heads of kids everywhere.
Ted's
Yeah.
been tasting her cookies and letting her pet him.
There's sugar cookies.
He keeps trying to mount her though.
Oh,
It's just let him finish.
But Arnold's getting progressively more pissed off with Ted because he's like, "Oh, he's at home eating my cookies. I'm out running around trying to find this Turbo Man." And he comes home to find Ted putting the star on the top of his Christmas tree.
Which is that a metaphor
it's
Yes, it's
definitely
Yes,
a metaphor.
Definitely.
for the birth of Christ?
He's mounting.
Yes.
He's mounting my wife in my house.
To the point where, because we can kind of skip past the Sinbad bit, they do go to the radio station when they think that there's a contest they can win to get a last minute Turbo Man. And there's this whole, they could have cut that, honestly, because it just wasn't necessary.
Are you talking about the heart to heart with Sinbad?
No, not the heart to heart. Just the radio sequence where Sinbad shows up at the radio station and threatens to blow up the building
with the bomb.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry, because when this bomb blows up, you just have black powder on your face.
And
It was the 90s. You could make jokes about blowing up buildings.
yeah, it's a
back then. It was-
pre-9/11
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
It's pre-9/11.
Listen, I mean, when I watched this movie, I'm like, this was a pre-9/11 film.
Yeah.
But Jason,
Yeah.
as an Arrested Development avid fan that you are, did you recognize the DJ in the movie?
I was hardly paying attention, so
Fair enough. That was Martin Mull,
Oh,
aka
yeah, well, yeah,
Martin Mull.
Yeah,
Gene Parmesan
Yeah.
from Arrested Development.
it's Martin Mull. He's
been in a ton
he's
of
been
things,
in
but
so
I know
many things.
I know
yeah.
that you love Arrested Development specifically, and he
Fernwood
was also
Tonight.
he was also
I mean,
on
who doesn't love
Community.
Arrested
Yeah.
Development?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has
yeah,
has anyone here ever seen Fernwood Tonight?
No, I have
No.
not.
It
No,
was
I have
it was
not.
it was a fake talk show hosted by Martin Mull in the
Okay.
70s, I think it was. It's probably on YouTube. It defined that
analogs.
whole our archives. Our
Yes.
go to the cultural archives. It's just youtube.com.
It's in a book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait
No,
a
it's worth
moment.
watching though.
Back in my day, television was called books. Today, I'm going to read it to
Back
you.
matter.
That was my favorite radio show.
It was actually a line from The Princess Bride. I'm surprised no one in the room caught that. but
Oh,
that's
I love
okay.
that movie. I'm
Yeah.
surprised I didn't catch that one.
It's all good. But yeah, so we can almost cruise right past it because Sinbad does threaten to blow up the building that the DJ is in. And then actually the second package that he does that ruse with where, "Oh, you built a bomb? No, I didn't build a bomb. People mail this kind of stuff all the time, man. I just hung on to it." And then the sergeant or the officer that Arnold keeps running into and having issues with, he knocks over his bike.
Yeah.
That
He gets a
poor
speeding
police
ticket.
officer.
He keeps having run-ins with Arnold.
But in this case, it's Sinbad. He picks up the package and he's like, "Don't worry, I spent 10 years on the bomb squad." And cavalierly picks up
Yeah.
a random package
Yeah.
that he was told point blank is a bomb, No, just picks it up.
He got
tears it
coffee.
open.
He got coffee for the guys on the team, and then was fired one day. So.
But because it's a '90s kids movie, the bomb will kill nobody.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, the bomb goes off, and it's just like a little cartoony Wile E. Coyote soot on the face.
This is the same universe where you can shoot somebody and it'll hit him in the shoulder and just have a little scratch. And it's like, it's just a flesh wound.
Don't even need to go to the hospital.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Put a Band-Aid on it.
The heart-to-heart that you alluded to earlier, Adam, though, is where...
Each on a wonga. Sorry.
Where Jamie turns out to be a nothing postman because he didn't get the right toy for Christmas. That's just so severe.
Well, I like that, it gives motivation to Sinbad as a character because he doesn't want his son to turn out to be a failed mailman like him. He didn't get his Johnny 7 OMA gun, so he's going to make sure that his son gets his Turbo Man doll.
By the way, have you ever seen what that is? The 7.0.
Is that a real thing?
Holy crap!
The Johnny 7 OMA gun that he's talking about?
You should go look
now
it
I
up.
want it.
No, go look it up. It's like the coolest damn toy ever.
7 guns in one.
Yeah.
So
it had
cool.
grenades on it, a bayonet, all kinds of shit. It was like, oh my god, I want this toy.
As a kid, I would have been all over that.
Yeah.
I collected toy guns as a kid because I'm crazy.
You're going to shoot your eye out, kid.
Now shoot your eye out, kid.
your eye out. You'll shoot your eye out.
I feel like that one's being done.
Way ahead of you.
Oh, yes.
It's my dad's favorite Christmas movie
I love
of
that
all
movie.
time.
I adore that movie.
And one thing that we have to remember to do in this episode, we forgot to do it on The Grinch, is we have to compare the movies that we've done so far for Christmas. And I already know what your vote is.
I just realized, though, that we
completely skipped
forgot
over
to
it on
do
The
that.
Grinch. Yeah,
okay.
so we can include The Grinch in our voting. So we'll get to that.
Are we
in a little bit.
referring to the Jim Carrey version?
Yes, we
The
are.
best version?
We covered that, and that's debatable. But, so we did cover that movie. But we'll get to that voting system in just a bit here.
Of course.
So we get to the DJ, and so that we can get to voting in a relatively timely manner and definitely still discuss the ending of the movie, because that's by far the most action and the most fun. So we can kind of gloss through a lot of
much like Fire in the Sky.
Yeah,
It's very similar in that way.
It is. They're almost the exact same length too.
Yeah, I know.
That's what's hilarious. There's a lot of exposition, a lot of setup, a lot of setup.
Well,
30 minutes of action.
Hey, every dollar they spent ended up on the screen.
Or in Arnold's pocket.
Or in Arnold's pocket, yes.
I like how Jingle All The Way gradually descends into a cartoon ending. I like how it basically turns into an episode of the Turbo Man TV show that Jamie watches.
The increase of madness.
Well, that's why it's just so handy that Arnold is the dad, because he fills out that Turbo Man suit real nice.
Yeah, he does.
I absolutely love how nobody knows who he is until he takes the helmet off.
Even though
Meanwhile,
he speaks repeatedly.
He's the one guy in the whole city who has a German accent and a body like that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Austrian.
Austrian accent. Sorry. He has an Austrian accent and a body like that. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
definitely not Andre the Giant.
It's almost like in a Schwarzenegger movie, things happen that don't make any sense, but we just forgive it and kind of go on with
it's
our
more
lives.
like, I feel like with him being dressed as Turbo Man, it's almost like the whole Superman.
Your best friend,
Superman.
doing cocaine with you.
I love doing cocaine with you, Johnny Depp.
Yeah. No, Superman complex, where it's like Lois Lane doesn't recognize Clark Kent as Superman because he wears glasses.
Because he wears glasses.
Yeah.
I just love how Arnold's like, I'm sure your daddy loves you very much. And then he takes the helmet off and he's like, Dad!
Because I am him, Jamie. I was about to call him Billy.
And then his wife's like, Howard,
hey.
can you take the suit home tonight?
Oh, God.
She does not say that. It is implied.
It's implied.
He's
Like,
gotta
that's my
get
husband.
It's got to go back to the rental store.
It's in the unrated director's cut
It's
that
got to
I
get dry
own.
cleaned.
You do not.
No, it's in the porn version of the movie.
Yeah. Which is also titled Turbo Man.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's called Turbo Man Triple X, I believe.
What would the porn title be? Because they always keep it fairly close to the
sweet Jesus.
Jingle and the Maid. I don't know, something with the maid.
Turbo Dildonics.
Oh.
Hey, you're the one that introduced the listeners to that concept.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of that.
Oh, jeez. Why did I do it? Why did I do it?
No, I'm not going there. I'm not talking about how one of your guests at a party was referring to appliances.
Oh, marital
yeah,
aids
we
is the
had
guest
that
party.
conversation.
Yeah.
And
I think everybody went home and had that conversation.
Oh yeah, we were forced to. So, given the fact that young Adam and Alyssa were both at the guest party, I think we should touch on that for a second, because you guys watched this instant when I entered the conversation, not knowing that marital aids were being discussed, and then one gentleman who shall not be named, Adam Brown, showed me a telephone with images on
Yes,
it.
I had to have the same thing. I was like, I don't know what this
I
is
tried
that
to
you're
stop
talking
it.
about.
In fairness, and I want to be on record, I tried to keep you from looking at that phone.
man.
And you did.
I did.
You were like, Darth, don't
Yeah.
look, don't
Don't
look,
do it, don't look.
And I was like, wait, what's? I was just confused. I was like, what's happening? Oh dear God!
Why? Why?
For those of you at home who are young and don't know what we're talking about, go and ask your mother.
Aw, don't go and ask your mother. Don't.
I think I was too busy stuffing my face with pizza to notice what was going on here.
A discussion of marital aids
my
was
famous-
being had with the ladies.
But
My famous catchphrase came into play.
Yeah, not just marital aids, small home appliances.
That
Like I think you could buy those at Sears.
there's
There
like,
might be a Craftsman version.
Oh God. Anyway,
This is what happened, folks. When we choose a children's movie, the conversation goes to marital aids.
hey,
Yeah.
Jason was the one who turned it to porn with. What would the porn title be?
This would be a Jingle Her All The Way.
Yeah, there you
oh,
go. Yeah.
there it is.
I think that's the winner.
You
But
can always come on me.
Ew.
and now young Adam is ruined for me forever. You
Not even sorry.
Boo.
God.
Moving on.
I'm gonna get more sound effects eventually, I promise.
Well,
Season 2.
At some point, those are the two ones that are worth anything. But we did discuss how at the guest party it was such a juxtaposition of, hey, cute puppy, marital aids. Like, it took such a
That's true.
nosedive.
That's true.
I was just there to eat pizza and say hi to everybody.
And to be absolutely fair to Mr. Brown, I will exonerate him from this because he did not start
Oh
that
no,
discussion.
it was no.
It was not on
no,
him.
no, no,
So,
no,
let me-
no,
no.
But what
It
my
did come
question
up
to
independently.
young Adam and Alyssa is it considered flashing if it happens on a telephone screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would call that virtual flashing, which
Oh.
happens a lot with like us ladies when we are single nowadays and everything, which I have not been for a while. But when I was, there was a lot of virtual flashing from
Yes.
dudes. Just this is like a major PSA for any men who are younger and
We
everything.
don't want unsolicited
Nobody
pictures
wants
of
it.
your junk.
Nobody
ever.
wants it. And
We're
if
good.
she does, she's a dude.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that is true.
No junk pics, please.
We're good.
And thank you.
I'm set.
Well, yeah.
I'm set.
it's-
Thank you.
Yeah. It's sort of like on that episode of Red Dwarf where you guys
Crickets.
Red Dwarf?
Crickets.
You know
I
what?
got nothing.
Don't
Give yourself
forget
the
it.
crickets.
I'll tell you what a woman.
For those of you in the audience,
Back in my
just go.
day.
If you remember Red Dwarf, you know the last chicken in the shop. That's the only one I'll. Yeah.
What a great story, old man
No.
Jason.
Thank you so
That,
much.
that show's
Story
still on
time
the
with
air.
Jason.
It's still on the air.
A woman really
So is
wants
Grey's
to
Anatomy.
see. A woman really wants to see your engaging eyes and your glimmering personality, not your junk.
Yes.
Or Arnold in a Turbo Man suit.
That's
Either
true.
or.
That's true. That would work for me.
That
That
is
would.
up for
Something-
debate.
Leave
Well, and
something
then you
to
get
the
to a certain
imagination.
age when you realize the bulge in your pants they're interested in is your wallet.
Yes.
Heyo.
Yeah, and life becomes much clearer.
And now we're at the scene where Ted is putting the star on his Christmas tree in his house.
And then the wife yells at
Arnold's
him
house.
and is like, "You cannot do that. That is his job." And he's very territorial about it.
So
He's
to
very
go
particular.
to go with the
Particular.
I guess recurring phase of breaking laws, Arnold's like, well, I've already broken enough laws. I guess I might as well break into Ted's house and steal his son's Turbo Man doll
Let's commit
too.
a B&E.
And nearly light his house on fire.
He goes full
Yeah.
Grinch. Like, he's going to ruin this kid's Christmas and take this kid's favorite toy from him so that his son can have it. But at least he has a crisis of conscience about it. Turns around because he's going to give the toy back, but he sees the reindeer, Ted, in the backyard, and he's like, nice doggy. Because the reindeer just hates Arnold for some inexplicable
Only
reason.
Arnold, yeah.
I still think that like Ted got the reindeer and then taught him to just
to
hate
hate
the
him.
smell of his aftershave or something
Maybe
like
like
that.
give him
He's-
shock therapy.
Yeah,
with, like,
yeah.
put
He stole his underwear.
Yeah,
Here, smell
totally.
this.
I was gonna say like
Well,
a scarf or something, but you know,
Well,
we had to go
because-
straight
Underwear.
Because Ted is moving in on Howard's wife, he trained the reindeer to hate Howard. Yes, that makes
Absolutely.
sense.
Because as we all know, reindeer make great assault animals.
They do. Yep, they do.
In Jingle All The Way, they do.
They were used extensively in Desert Storm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's why there's so few of them. Santa has to keep them. He's got his own preserve at the North Pole.
It was terrible, but they all got killed, though. It was horrible.
Well,
Go to Iraq today. You won't find a single reindeer.
That's true. But that's why Santa has a reserve, kind of like Ted with his bison and his buffalo. He's got to rebuild the population.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing that Turbo Man doll in Ted's house has Turbo Man wrapping paper.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or else Arnold would have had no idea.
Well, he did pick it up and it made a Turbo Man noise.
Oh, you're right. It said the line.
Yeah, it said like, it's turbo time.
It's turbo time.
You can always count on me.
He's got to be careful, though, because this is a Christmas movie neighborhood. He could have accidentally broken into Danny Glover's house.
And then got
could
shot.
have.
Like
That would have been, oof. Yeah.
That would have been bad.
Riggs would have shot
We're going to
the
get
hell
bloody
out
on
of
this one, Roger.
Get my Smith & Wesson.
Getting too old for this shit.
God.
Yeah, I love how the one thing that makes him think like, let's not steal from a child is reading the tag on it that says, to Johnny from your loving father.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a Turbo Man for Johnny months ago. It's nestled safely under a tree.
God.
That is a freaky ass reindeer puppet.
He is.
Yes.
Well, and I
Yeah.
think they did a good job, at least with the teeth, and I'll tell you why. Because reindeer are different from regular deer.
Reindeer be different from regular deer.
I said
Sinbad.
are.
No, I was doing a Sinbad joke.
What? I was like, what did I say? Because I had to explain to my cousin's child, Trevor, once, because he didn't understand that regular deer have sharp canine teeth.
Right.
They
They
do?
Apparently, a lot of people don't know
What?
that. Yes,
I saw a picture of it once.
Yeah,
Man,
just-
I'm teaching the youth
like-
of America, and I didn't even know
razor
that.
blades, man. They will just they'll mess you up.
Yeah,
Ooh.
they can. I mean, they've got sharp teeth like dogs, and that's part of the reason why, like when they run out of their natural food source, they can peel bark off of a tree.
Yeah.
So you're saying reindeer have human-like teeth?
Reindeer have flat teeth. They have more herbivore type teeth
Yes.
than regular
Gotcha.
deer.
But real deer only attack humans if there's somebody around to film it and put it on YouTube.
Well,
Precisely.
I'm personally I respect that this film didn't want to misrepresent reindeer.
Yes.
Hey, it's a Christmas
because
movie.
it's
You
been
better get your
happening for
reindeer.
far too long.
And maybe that's why Santa chose reindeer, because they don't have the canine killer teeth.
It's time someone spoke up. He'll take somebody with a radioactive nose, but not somebody with
Right.
sharp teeth, people.
But I love how he basically feeds the reindeer a bowl of beer.
Yep.
yeah.
Like that, yeah.
It's very Billy
Who
Madison.
hasn't, fed an animal alcohol?
Want to get that donkey some beer?
Get them all messed up.
I have never fed an animal alcohol
Really?
I haven't either.
intentionally.
They can't metabolize it. It's horrible for them. It can kill them. So
Well,
listeners, don't give your animals
Don't do
beer.
it.
Don't do it.
As funny as it sounds, do not do it. Do
unless
not.
it's an irritating little black cat that had just attacked you
That's
constantly.
okay. That's okay.
'Cause
As
that-
a person who's
Is that what happened to
That's
you?
exactly. No, it was literally at a party and people were lining up. Just give it more beer. Maybe it'll kill it.
as a person whose dog was poisoned in childhood, I'm surprised at you, Jason.
But that was a dog, though.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah. Well, they made a cat wine. They made wine that you can give cats. And
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
It's called Wine for Lonely Ladies.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
how sad of a cat Gale lady do you have to
know.
be?
I
Exactly.
think it's
It-
legitimately called like Lonely
guess-
Lady wine.
I guess so
or
they don't
something.
Yeah.
feel alone while they're drinking if they're drinking at home with their cat. Is that the concept?
guess.
Yeah, they're drinking
Legitimately.
with their only friend,
Sweet
their
Jesus.
cat.
Well, it legitimately gets your cat drunk in a safe way, so that your cat is stumbling around the house with you while
it's-
you're
Yeah,
drinking.
exactly.
So it's
yeah.
laced with catnip, essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially.
All right.
So
I
if
don't
you
think I
want
ever
to,
went through
so
that.
if you want to get your cat drunk, do it responsibly,
Yes.
PSA.
Under your
responsible.
supervision.
and
more you
and
know.
also take their keys away.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Put it in the
Always,
key bowl
yes.
party in Alpharetta. Call it
Friends,
a day.
don't let
Yeah.
friends whose only friend is a cat drive drunk.
True story.
So true.
Yeah.
But okay, so we get to the big juxtaposition, or not juxtaposition, the big crux of the movie where, Ted has been hitting on Liz incessantly and obviously throughout the film. And she's like the one mom that he chooses because he's such an eligible bachelor.
He
Liz.
wants a challenge. He wants to go for the married woman.
I
Hey,
guess.
back then, Phil
It's
Hartman
not
could have any
even-
woman he wanted.
I think it's not even that because I feel like those other ladies might also be married.
But they're throwing
Oh.
themselves
But
at him.
I
They're not a
think
challenge.
that the challenge is the fact that Liz pushes him away.
Yeah.
And that
Oh, he likes
makes
the hard.
him more
and-
interesting.
and
he
also-
likes hard to get.
And also, look who she's married to.
Yeah.
It's like if I can take out this dude,
If I can take out Arnold and win the competition, I'm the ultimate man.
With such feminine masculinity, too. Oh, I'm so great in the kitchen.
I think there should be a film that really dives into Ted's origin story because he must have some kind of psyche.
I would pay to see that movie.
Yeah, I would watch the Ted origin story
but totally straight, totally serious.
Yeah, I want to see what his ex-wife did to him.
Ted,
I think
must have been bullied.
She clearly left him for her personal trainer.
Probably.
If she's still alive.
Oh, shoot.
We'll get Christian Bale to play Ted.
Oh.
Yes! I'm in.
Can I play the reindeer?
Please don't anybody
Ted the reindeer.
Don't anybody let M. Night Shyamalan hear this because he'll make it.
Keep it under wraps.
It's true. It's true.
It's between us. Okay.
I just want to see the twist.
But Howard gets kicked to the curb pretty much.
Jake Lloyd is his son.
Oh,
I am your father.
Yeah.
So many
Perfect.
overlaps. So yes, we're finally at the crux of the movie at the Turbo Man Wintertainment Parade.
Yes, the LSD Nightmare Parade.
Because Arnold gets busted trying to steal Ted's kid's Turbo Man doll, and he also sets Ted's house on fire. He's looking pretty bad at this point. So he follows his kid, and Liz just sort of turns on him. She's like, Ted, will you drive me and the boys to the parade? And it's just
screw you, Howard.
Kicking him while he's down. Poor Howard.
Yeah, Howard is really losing in this movie.
Yeah.
But she regrets that decision real quick once those boys leave that car.
What are you talking about? Ted is a very eligible bachelor. A lot of women would kill to be in that position.
Exactly.
She's a lucky girl.
He doesn't even try to spike the eggnog. It's completely alcohol free.
Here, let me give you some non-alcoholic eggnog.
Yep. But then you got to respect Liz because she doesn't need Arnold to come and save her. Phil Hartman puts the moves on her and she knocks him the hell
that's
out.
great.
Yeah.
She knocks his block off.
Very satisfying.
Did you notice that the tick is in there?
Yeah.
Is he
I
really?
pointed that out
Yeah.
last night. I was like, that's the tick.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
I
like
do
the most random thing, and it's so awesome.
And
That
Sonic the
Hedgehog.
Paddington Bear,
Madeline.
you see Gumby.
A box of crayons.
Yeah, a box
Yeah.
of Crayola.
The
Crayola brand crayons.
Rock'em
Yes,
Sock'em Robots.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Rock'em
yeah.
Sock'em Robots are in there too.
Cat in the
I
Hat.
do love that.
But like old school Cat in the Hat that actually looked like the illustration.
Not the Mike Myers monstrosity.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
That's another movie for another episode.
Oh, my God.
I would love to be a part of that one.
But this is the part of the movie where young Adam, as you said, like all the elements just kind of align, and the movie really loses its grasp on reality.
Yes.
Oh, thank God, Arnold got a little. He sees the cop that he keeps having run-ins with, so he ducks down this alley, and then he goes in a door, and then oh my God, he's just suddenly the replacement for Turbo Man.
And then he bumps into Jim Carrey's cousin, who
yes, I was
basically
gonna say that.
who basically gives him a Turbo Man outfit.
So we fixed all the kinks, and the guy's in the hospital, but we found out that he's got most of his brain activity
He's
back
showing
after
brain
rehearsal.
activity.
That's a really good sign.
So have a great show.
So basically, Howard becomes the new Turbo Man at the Christmas parade, and he uses that as an opportunity to give the special edition Turbo Man doll to his son Jamie, who luckily he finds in the crowd. So
He knows
And
my
it
name.
all works out in the end.
Well, he hasn't
Yes.
rehearsed anything, so he doesn't realize that Sinbad has commandeered the costume from the actual Dementor, and a regular postman just knows how to parallel off of a building in the middle of a major city.
I love that
That is part of the job description.
that's
You
part of their
need to
training.
know how to do that before you can be released upon the public.
I talked to a mailman.
He knows how to
once.
zip line.
I had a friend of mine who was a letter carrier. I was corrected on that. And
Postman's no longer a thing?
yeah, well, that's his thing was we're letter carriers, which whatever.
What if they're carrying bills?
I know, or you're working for Amazon.
Yeah, what?
whatever. But he said you wouldn't believe the stuff that they do as part of their actual training. Like they're one of the only. It's like the largest federal agency that's trained in firearms.
What?
Yeah, mailmen letter carriers get trained in like how to shoot. They were actually
Because they go to so many personal addresses, or what's the purpose behind that?
Because in the olden days it was a thing. You robbed the mailman because there was
Kill
all
the
kinds
messenger
of there was
and
all
rob the mailman,
yeah.
yeah.
But they he said that during the Cold War they were trained. The U.S. Postal Service's job, if we ever went to war with the Soviets, was to catalog how many people died.
Shut up.
Seriously, they were trained. This guy was trained, and they were trained to deliver medication because their whole thing was, well, you know how to get there, so we just give you all the medication, and the mailmen would go out and bring it, and they would keep a list of all the people who were dead. That was
That is insane.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, you ever wonder why so many of us go crazy? There's more to the story.
Yeah, I never would have guessed.
Wow.
I thought it was mostly just getting honked at and people passing you on the road all the time because you're in that rinky-dink little truck. Well, no, but it doesn't go very fast. Is what I'm saying. It's not built for speed.
If I was a mailman, I'd take one home and soup it up. I'd have like a big ass
Ernest,
muffler on the back of it,
roaring around town.
The mail's here.
There you go. But yeah, so they're suiting up Arnold to be Turbo Man, and who's Jason? I know you know this. Who's the comedian that's in the booster costume?
Booger.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay. I'm
yeah.
sweating like
Booger.
a dog in a Chinese restaurant.
So it's Curtis Armstrong, who's most famously known as Booger from Revenge of the Nerds. I always call him Booger, but he's playing Booster in this film, and he gives one of the profanity lines in the film.
He does.
Yeah. I think all those guys from Revenge of the Nerds, they're just known by those names.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Every time I see them.
Mr. Carradine.
Yeah.
Robert Carradine?
Flounder.
Yeah.
Flounder, yeah. Flounder? Isn't that Animal House?
Oh, that's right. Flounder.
Oh,
from
yeah,
Animal.
we're crossing over.
Yeah,
My bad.
Sorry.
But yeah.
Otter. Oh, no, also
Wait.
Animal House.
Yeah.
Damn it. Can't get it straight. But yeah, so you've got Booster, and he's sitting there smoking in his costume, and it sort of disillusions kids a little bit because this scene, it just shows that they're, just regular humans in these costumes.
That's a big deal.
It is.
That's a really big deal.
That's
And
what I'm
he's
saying.
smoking and cursing. So it's like all kinds of levels, like realization for children.
And
Yeah.
poor Booster gets a beating because at one point Sinbad kicks him off the parade float. Nobody likes you, Booster, and so all these little kids
then
start
all-
emulating
They
that.
beat him up,
All
and they're
of
like,
these
"We
people-
hate you, Booster."
They just kick him while he's down. It's
Literally.
terrible. Like I feel so
do.
sorry
Yeah, I
for
love it.
Booger. He's not getting paid enough.
And I do love the commentators that they do a great job on the parade. I'm just here with the lovely, what I don't know their names, but fly Turbo Man, use your booster pack or whatever it is. Jetpack, Turbo Pack, I don't know.
Here's a little touch that I enjoyed about those characters is when they're done announcing something, they
It's
each
full Iron
they,
Man.
they
That's what
take
that
their
is.
stack of papers and they click them at the same time on the desk. You know, like a news guy.
Yeah.
Click.
Yep. Got to do the Walter Cronkite pay per click.
Yep.
For sure. But yeah, so Arnold's up there, and it takes him a minute to realize he doesn't see what costume they're putting on him until he's up on the float. Yeah, I could get used to this.
I could get used to this. I
But-
could be Turbo Man for a living.
I think he could. Because even these days, Arnold could still rock that suit. I guarantee you.
Okay, I got the doll here. I got to find Jamie. Where is he in the crowd?
Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I've got to say this, and I'm sure Alyssa, you'll agree with me here, is that he's one of those awesome celebrities that never lets you down physique-wise. Like, every now and then you'll see, like, a guy you used to admire, and then you see him these days, and you're like, oh, what happened to so-and-so?
Oh, so true.
Yeah, but Arnold, he's
I
still
was-
in really good shape.
I was having that conversation with Adam when he showed me the Terminator over the weekend. I was like, wow, this is like right after this is like him action hero. This is like the first time he's an action hero. Like
Yeah.
this is his like most physique body.
Well,
Not
except
really,
for-
not so much Governor of California body that I see now. But
don't-
then again, that body's still good.
I don't
it's
think
still
you're familiar
rocking.
with his bodybuilding days pre-Hollywood even.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
familiar. Oh, I'm familiar.
yeah.
I'm saying
Arnold-
this is like
have you seen Hercules in New York?
Oh,
I have not.
Oh yeah,
I have not.
You have to watch the dubbed one though.
Yes.
It's
Oh,
it's
God.
hilarious.
Arnold Schwarzenegger won the Mr. Universe
I know.
bodybuilding
That's what
award
I was
I know.
referring to.
5 years
5 years
in
in a row.
Yeah.
Do you know who else won that?
Do tell.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery was
Sean Connery?
Sean Connery.
No, he did.
Yes, he did.
You're lying.
Look
James
it up.
Bond himself.
Look it up. Before he
Listen.
was Bond, he was Mr. Universe.
He
Look
was-
it up.
Seriously?
Yes, he was.
Sean
Oh my
Connery was
God.
good looking as
I'll have
James
to
Bond,
find-
but how on earth did he get that buff?
I'll
So
have to
my
find that for the show
question
notes.
is then, okay, so we all know what happened with Arnold Schwarzenegger. We all know what happened with Sean Connery. Whatever happened to the other winners of Mr. Universe? Like, did they continue bodybuilding? Did
They
they
didn't become the Terminator.
Did
or
they
James Bond.
become
No.
bouncers at bars? Like, what
They-
did they do?
They won their awards and went home and got day jobs.
My word.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Sean
Really?
Connery, ladies
Holy
and gentlemen.
poo.
You're telling
on
me
toast.
you're telling me that Sean Connery used to be buff?
Yes.
I've
Wow.
never seen
I
him in
mean,
Because
Hey.
when he did the James Bond movies, I mean, he was good looking, but he wasn't buff. Was that the?
He was
There you
fit.
go. Feast, ladies.
That must have been the
Ooh,
50s.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
Had to have been.
as a straight man, I'm attracted.
Oh,
Well, that's I've,
I mean, he's no Don Johnson, but still.
no. But he is. Well, no, but
Nobody
that's
is.
like I've had the conversation with my wife. As far as like who the freebies are.
Yeah, we discussed that on 10th.
yeah.
Did she say
Daniel
Sean
Craig.
Connery?
No, Daniel Craig.
Oh,
and,
okay.
and I said,
Because everybody gets a freebie.
Because her
yeah,
others
and I
were-
went, yeah, okay, Daniel Craig, that's fine. I'm totally okay
You
with
can't
that.
deny your woman the ability to be a Bond girl.
Yeah,
That's just
it'd
it.
be like, wait,
Then
Daniel
you have
Craig
your
wants
own
to have
Bond
sex
girl
with
at
you?
home.
Well, yeah, but also it would just be like, I can't deny anyone that. I mean, come
No,
on,
absolutely not.
And
Adam's freebie is Zachary Levi.
Zachary Levi. I saw Shazam
would.
and I fell in
You
love.
would.
I can. Okay, all right. So who's your freebie, Alyssa? Do y'all just have the one freebie, or do
We
you
do.
have the hall pass
I
list?
think
Maybe Chris Pratt also.
What is it with Chris freaking Pratt? He's a good-looking man. Don't get me wrong, but he's on like everyone's list.
mine.
nice guy.
Mine might be Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan
He's on a
Reynolds.
lot of lists, too.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
Deadpool. I was attracted to Chris Pratt when he was Andy Dwyer. So
Yeah, he liked fat Chris Pratt.
I like Fat Pratt.
A lot of people did before he was part of the Pratt pack.
Well, he was more approachable. He was the accessible Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he's unattainable, Chris Pratt.
Which is ironic because he married Anna Faris, and
Anna.
who was always the attainable, achievable.
But she's so ridiculously hot. Like that's what kills.
She
Her
is.
personality is very accessible,
Yeah.
but not her looks. She's drop dead gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
I still wish she was a
Yeah.
brunette again, though.
I liked her as a
Well,
brunette.
if your wife is any indication, or your hall pass list, you seem to like brunette ladies. So that's that makes sense.
You're right. It's a fetish.
Yeah. I mean, the chances of finding a brunette lady are pretty good.
It's a kink of mine, I admit.
oh my!
Yeah.
Heckin' weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to say my freebie is Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh,
He's
okay.
so damn pretty.
Wait, is that Bill Skarsgård's brother?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I've
blonde
got a
guy
son.
from True Blood.
I've got a redhead on my list. Though. I've got Jessica Chastain.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. So
You have two brunettes and a redhead.
yes.
So
Yeah, but can we count Jessica Chastain as fully a redhead because she was brunette at one point?
Oh dear God, that's why
true.
Jason really likes her. He can sense the brunette.
He can feel it in
He can
his
feel the
bones.
roots.
I don't know, counselor.
Approach the bench.
I think if she ever made a pass at me, I would let it slide. I'd go ahead.
Despite
I'd
her
just say,
awful red hair.
you know what?
I love how real we're
going to
all
allow it.
getting.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
All right. But so yeah, we've gotten to the real action in the movie, which you're right, Jason. It does take a while to get around to it. There's a lot of hokey kind of action while Arnold's wrestling over the Turbo Man throughout the movie, but then
Well,
you get into the real Turbo Man.
Leading to
Right,
the big action climax at the parade,
Crazy.
it's comedic genius on the way to this action.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And then it sort of just kind of ends.
It
with-
totters along for a second
it does
because
it's there. It's they're
Well, 'cause
trying.
Arnold's got to pretend for a second that he's not some big ass action hero. Oh, I don't know how to react when people attack me on a parade float.
I think I was at the age when this movie came out that it was when you're a kid and the stuff that's totally unbelievable.
It's
would
Power
never
Rangers
happen.
level
That's so
action,
stupid.
for sure.
When you're a kid, it's like who cares? It's fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, when
And-
I watched this movie on VHS as a kid, and I was like, oh, I mean, it's only logical that Arnold would put on a Turbo Man suit and fight the
Right,
mailman.
right.
But now as an adult, I'm like, this is a cartoon episode, and I have to appreciate it for what it is.
Well, and as I say that, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about how the response to movies like this is hyper realism and dreary and dark, and we kind of went that way for a long time. And I'm fine with a movie that's totally unrealistic. It's a movie. It's silly. It's stupid.
Right, like and
that's
these days-
fine.
Yeah.
It's almost like our generation grew up and they go to the movies expecting it to be something that it was never designed to be. Like this
Yeah.
movie knows exactly what it is. It's got just enough
Yeah.
cheese to
Well,
it.
people have complained about that with science fiction because now science
Absolutely.
fiction has to be so realistic
Oh yeah.
that
Yeah.
you've got Interstellar and you've got Ad Astra and all. They're really like we worked with NASA to do all this stuff and make sure it's absolutely correct. And like you get movies like The Martian, which is just dull.
Well, even that video I sent you, the Star Wars versus Star Trek, I sent that to you and Adam Brown, where it's like, oh, none of your science makes any sense. It's like, yeah, duh, none of it exists.
Star Wars is not science fiction.
No. They're saying that Star Trek,
science fiction,
like the
fantasy.
science doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, okay, but we don't really have that. We had to bridge the gap with something that's not real.
Right,
That's
exactly.
okay.
We came up with the story, and then we made the science serve the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing with so many movies. It's like, because I've heard people complain about Pirates of the Caribbean, even saying that the sequels are unrealistic. I was like, I'm sorry, the first one is about pirates that turn into skeletons in the moonlight.
Yeah.
What was so unrealistic
I'm
about
sorry.
that?
If you're going into a science fiction film or a Pirates of the Caribbean film expecting realism,
Yeah.
You're there for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
you're there for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
Oh, but here we go. Super Iron Man
It's-
test flight.
It's turbo time.
Yeah, this is the part where my eyes actually locked. They were rolling so hard. You know, it was. I had to go to the
so-
emergency room.
If you haven't seen the masterpiece that is Jingle All The Way, Arnold puts on a Turbo Man suit that actually has a working jetpack that
These are-
surpasses technology of the 1990s or now.
Or now,
Because that was totally a thing that they would put inside a costume
Yeah.
for
For
a
a
parade.
parade.
Yeah.
Right.
It just doesn't make any sense. But like you said, you have to accept it for what
It
it is.
turns
it-
into an episode of a superhero TV show.
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
turns into Condor Man.
Well, I have a theory.
Yeah.
It so does.
Yeah, it does. It turns into Condor Man.
I have a theory here, and this is a crazy theory, and it probably isn't true.
Is it a last Starfighter theory?
As much as I love Last Starfighter, no. I think that in reality, the fight between Arnold and Myron was a very sloppy, simple, realistic fist fight on the parade float. And all of this that is happening is how Jamie is viewing it in his head.
That would be fantastic. Right. In fact, and it would be awesome if they cut away and you saw Arnold fighting Sinbad, and it was
Yeah.
just like them pushing each other.
See,
you know?
that is so Calvin and Hobbes, because Bill Watterson said that because people have approached him for years like, oh, is Calvin's tiger real or is he really just a stuffed animal? And he goes, no. Both perceptions of Hobbes are real. It's just that's how Calvin sees him versus how everybody else sees him. I never thought about it that way, Adam.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Jamie views his father as his hero. So
Oh, that's a
Well,
neat
and this
theory.
is before he knows that it's his dad, so he also views Turbo Man as
And
a
he's
hero.
He's used to the television show where Turbo Man really does fly around and
It's
have
a
all
child
these.
vicious that Turbo
Yeah.
Man. It's a fictional
Yes.
character.
Shut up,
for
Werner. Nobody invited
for
you.
stooping his mother. Sorry.
He's still patient zero. Tombstone.
I got to agree with Werner here.
My God. But
See, this whole scene gives me so much
Germans are fun.
anxiety.
to see a kid hanging
To
100
see a
feet off
kid
the air.
hanging
As-
hundreds of
Up in the
feet
air.
off in the air on a wire Christmas tree.
But to be fair, it's Jake Lloyd. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
so nobody really cares.
Well,
I mean, I kind of care,
He's a Jedi.
but at
He'll
the
land on
same
his-
time,
if Sam Beckett was real, he would leap back in time and cut the wire.
I'm afraid of heights, so this scene does give me anxiety. And in
oh,
Sinbad,
there goes Turbo Man, help!
Jamie. By the way, Jingle All The Way drinking game, everybody.
Oh, no.
Every time Arnold says the word Jamie, take a shot
Yeah. Or
How
just,
many
or
times does he
just
say it?
drink
A
a
lot.
lot.
A lot.
Just keep drinking.
throughout the entire movie, or
Now-
just keep drinking the whole bottle.
Yeah.
Are we talking about?
It's sort of like the Temple of Doom drinking game. Anytime Kate Capshaw screams,
Oh, yikes!
you'll be drunk in 15
half an hour,
minutes. Yeah.
15 minutes. Yeah, 15 minutes.
No, here's the ultimate drinking game. Mrs. Doubtfire. Every time Robin Williams says the word "dear,"
Oh, you'd be dead. You'd die of alcohol poisoning.
ultimate
yikes.
drinking game.
Yeah.
I won't make it. I need
The
to.
Australians
I
will
won't do it.
survive,
Yeah.
but they'll be the only ones.
I'm gonna have to use beer for that one. Yikes!
Scotland might survive. We have
Yes.
like 2 listeners.
Oh,
there.
this is when I come here with the jetpack and I
Sorry,
save my
I've given my son 3rd-degree burns.
Yeah. It's just the mom is
No,
just,
it's non-burning fire.
oh. See, now
What is it,
He's like-
cold fire?
I love how Arnold is basically like,
Cold
here's your son, and then she's like, who are you?
Yeah.
and your father.
Thank you so much, sir.
You look nothing like.
I think like my husband.
My
Sound
buff
and look
Austrian
nothing like
husband.
him. Oh God! And she's just
To be fair, I
distracted.
smoked a lot of weed before I came here today.
I had to put up with all these freaky cartoons in real life.
I
And
actually really love that Jamie gives the doll to Sinbad.
that was really this movie has like 2 distinct, like heartfelt tearjerker moments when he gives the doll away, and then when he tells Arnold, "I've got the real." Shut up, Jason.
I've got the real Turbo Man at home.
That was so damn sweet.
Oh, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about this home appliance by Craftsman.
I was talking about Ted the reindeer. I don't want to get back
Ted
to the
the reindeer.
He's got his own home appliances.
It's me under the suit here.
It's me, and it's Arnold.
It's Arnold. It's the governor of California.
Wow.
Look, Jamie's dad is Turbo Man. He's like, bye.
I love how
run.
I love how
That's
Ted
what makes him run.
The second Ted sees him in the Turbo Man suit, he's like, "Oh, he's gonna kick my ass. I just like raped his wife. I got to get out of here."
He did not rape her because he did not
tried.
succeed.
He tried to. He
tried
attempted
to molest her, yes. But that is funny that you bring that up, Adam, because he knows how buff Arnold Schwarzenegger is the entire time, and he continues to hit on his wife. But then it's the Turbo Man suit that really terrifies him.
Yeah.
It makes him run away.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't compete with him in a Turbo Man outfit.
He's got a jetpack.
And this
from
poor
the future.
This poor moment with the police officer that he's technically been harassing for 2 days straight. I'm sorry about the motorcycle.
everything.
He's like,
and
sorry about the
bomb.
bus and the coffee and the bike
So Sinbad's going to jail.
And the bomb.
and the bomb.
Sinbad is going to
Yeah,
jail.
Sinbad's going to jail.
But he's got a nice little action figure to
But
protect
he's got
him.
a Turbo Man doll that they'll put into the police facility.
And it'll be used as evidence.
Yeah, whenever he leaves and they do the whole thing.
Yeah, like
His
one,
kid's not
one
getting
wallet,
that too.
Like
one
Blue-
belt, one
Blues Brothers.
prophylactic
Yeah.
used.
Yeah.
And one Turbo Man doll.
Here's a Turbo Man doll. Yeah.
His son isn't getting that doll on Christmas Day.
His son will get that Turbo Man doll whenever he gets out of jail.
Approximately 5 to 8 years from now.
Wow, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, he did like
Turbo Man won't even be
He
in
did
by
try
then.
to
try to
blow
murder.
up, blow up the police.
He tried to blow up a building, murder a child in a parade. Yeah, you're right.
Like
Well,
you do,
let's-
like any Christmas movie. So let's get around.
Let's talk. I guess we need to do two things. We need to talk about Alf to Seinfeld.
We do.
Well, first of all, have you guys seen the after credit scene for this movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, only just because I watched it
Okay.
today. Yeah.
Just making sure you guys know about the
I-
after credit scene.
Don't know that I have, actually.
to set up the possible sequel, which there was a sequel.
There was a sequel
There
with
was a
Larry the
sequel
Cable Guy.
Whoa, we
It
don't,
is
we don't
okay.
talk about that.
Truly,
like Spider-Man
fantastic,
3.
and in true character of how terrible Howard is. The wife goes, "Wow, with everything that you went through to get Jamie the present that he wanted, and all the hoops that you jumped through, and all the great things that you did, it makes me really wonder." What'd you get for me?
Oh, God.
Nothing.
Arnold-
He
and
got
actually-
her nothing.
Arnold
got
got
her
a
some
divorce.
turbo
That's what
time.
he got.
And he
A
actually
divorce.
at that moment suffered a fugue state because of the emotion and hallucinated the events of Total Recall. Total Recall is
Come
just
on.
something that
I love
happens
it.
in the head.
Come on, go Hagen. Give these
Yeah.
people air
All
right, now.
Before we jump down these multiple possible rabbit holes. All right, so guys, we're going to go ahead and compare this to the other Christmas movies that we've seen so far. And we're only doing it up until that point. Like, so we're not talking about every Christmas movie of all time.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are talking about so far Christmas
Christmas
Story, Die Hard, Jim Carrey's Grinch, or Ron Howard's Grinch with Jim
Ron
Carrey.
Howard's Grinch, yeah.
And now Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So, of those 4 movies, which is the best Christmas movie?
Of those 4.
Well,
Of those 4.
I'll although I do let me for the record say that I do believe Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I think Die Hard is
It's not a Christmas movie.
Oh, shit.
She has not seen the film yet, folks.
Oh, then get out of here. Get out.
don't worry,
Why
don't
are you
worry.
here?
I
don't
haven't
worry.
seen it because it's not a Christmas movie.
I'll be showing her the film very soon because it is Christmas
Throw it
time.
at her. Throw it at her.
However,
I would like.
However.
I would like the witness to read the last 3 words on the toy that I just handed her.
It says, now I have a gun. Ho, ho, ho.
no, I have a machine gun. Ho,
And
ho.
the words "ho ho ho" are they commonly associated with a holiday?
I believe so.
Only National Hooker Day.
I believe the setting of Die Hard is a Christmas party
And there's
Doesn't-
Christmas music in the background.
in the soundtrack. Yeah.
I feel really ganged up on right
I
now.
rest my
and-
case.
Don't worry, folks. I will be
So
showing.
let's vote.
I will
Let's
be showing
vote.
her Die. I will be showing her Die Hard this year, but that's beside the point.
Cool, then we don't have to murder her. Good
Yes.
No, not
I do
yet.
think Die Hard is a great movie, and it is a Christmas movie. But when it comes to Christmas, there are very few films that I have to watch every year, and one of them is Jingle All the Way.
Fair enough.
Now, if I'm comparing it to Jim Carrey's Grinch and what else?
A Christmas Story and Die Hard.
I would say that the top Christmas movie out of those selections would probably be Christmas Story, but number 2, Jingle All the Way.
All right.
You know, I hate to say this.
Oh, my.
Because you know how much I love Die Hard.
I do. I'm a little afraid.
I actually have to. I'm torn on this one. It's a dead heat between A Christmas Story and Die Hard, and I actually don't know yet which.
It wasn't when we watched Die Hard.
I know, but
so you've changed your mind since then.
I haven't yet. I'm still voting Die Hard tonight, but I'm not.
Okay.
But I might in a future
we're not at
episode.
the end of our Christmas
I might
season
at a future episode. I might vote. You know,
That's
I'm gonna vote Die Hard just to keep it alive for right now.
That's
but
fair.
A Christmas Story is just a fantastic, incredible Christmas movie.
It is.
Bear in mind that I'm going off of strict, like, what I watched during Christmas. Die Hard is probably the best movie out of all of these for me, but in terms of Christmas movies, I gotta go, Jingle All the Way number 2.
Well, and if nothing else, you have the juxtaposition of all the very fake cursing in Christmas Story and all the very real cursing in Die Hard.
Yippee-ki-yay, Melon Farmer.
Melon Farmer.
Fudge.
No, yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
I didn't say fudge.
Now, what?
All right, Miss Alyssa.
Where do you come down on all
Of
this?
those
Out
four.
of those
So,
four.
mine's a little complicated because I watch 3 out of those 4. I will watch that 4th one this year, I promise. But
Is she even allowed to vote on this matter? My
I
God.
am going to vote and say that I watch Christmas Story every year because it's my dad's favorite.
Sure.
I watch.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's giving you the red light.
I hit a button over here. I'm sorry.
We need you
Yeah.
to make a decision.
I'm going to make the decision and say Jingle All the Way is
right.
my number 1, but my number 2 is Jim Carrey's Grinch, just because of nostalgic and like personal reasons.
Gotcha.
Very true. Personal
All right.
reasons.
Darth,
Personal reasons.
it's down to you.
I'm kind of, well, you're going to be upset because I'm sort of still in your camp. Because remember, I was waffling between Christmas Story and Die Hard myself. And I think the problem is the same for both of us in the sense that it depends on your mood.
It kind of does.
Because
That's
you
fair.
sometimes
That's
you want
fair.
a good, wholesome, like, oh man, I got the toy that I wanted for
it's
Christmas.
Christmas
and sometimes,
morning. Let's put a movie on
And
with the
sometimes you want to
family.
throw a German man off a damn building. So
no shit.
there you go.
And that's Christmas.
So
Let me spend enough time with my family, and it's going to be Die Hard.
Oh, there it is.
Happy trails, Hans.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
But yeah, so
What do you
in
think,
that
I'm
case,
stupid?
Well,
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
so we will. I guess you and I will have to make our definitive
we're
statements on
yeah.
that by the time we're done with our Christmas season. So that's fine. So that being said, let's get to Alf to Seinfeld. So Alyssa, since you are new to the studio and we're not sure what or any if you've listened to our episodes, Alf to Seinfeld, so you're familiar, is a very unique scale, patent pending, Nobel Peace Prize pending. But the way that it works is Alf is on the very bottom of the scale for this reason. When you're a kid, you think Alf is the most brilliant, funny, hilarious show that's ever happened. Then you grow up and you realize it was all a lie. And Alf is a dumpster fire of a television show.
Okay.
Whereas Seinfeld, you're a kid and you're so bored with it. And what are these grown-ups talking about? They're so boring and they won't stop talking. But then you grow up and you realize that Seinfeld is the most genius thing that's ever happened anywhere.
And it's the greatest sitcom of all time.
So it's
the
a
way-
scale of improvement.
Yes, so that means that if this movie has not changed for you at all, if it's just as good now as it was when you first saw it, then it gets a perfect 5. Now, if it got worse in your eyes, then it's less than a 5. If it got better for whatever reason, it's above a 5. So I will let you ruminate on that for a second, and we'll let Mr. Darby, who's a little more familiar with the scale, where does Jingle All the Way fall on Alf to Seinfeld for you?
Well, I love Jingle All the Way. I think it's a Christmas masterpiece, and I watch it every single year. For me, I enjoyed it in a completely different way as a child as I do now. But as I grow older, I enjoy it more on a completely different scale from what I didn't notice as a child. So that's tough. I guess I got to put it towards the Seinfeld end of the spectrum simply because I enjoy it in different ways as I grow older.
Okay. All right.
So that would, like, if it's a scale of 1 to 10, where are you going to put it on the scale?
Ooh.
Like a 7, like right split the difference.
Yeah, like how much better did it get, basically?
How much better did it get? I probably go 8.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair
All
enough.
right. Darth.
All right. So Jingle All the Way, I will be honest, I appreciated it a little bit more than I did as a kid, because I am a little bit older than young Adam, and I was still relatively small when this movie came out, and I enjoyed it for the silliness and, Arnold's funny accent and him falling down and going boom like every 30 seconds and beating up a bunch of Santas. That
For sure.
I enjoyed it for what it was, but then I did start enjoying some of the adult humor and jokes that I missed as a kid, and I really enjoyed the actual heartfelt moments that you get, because it is kind of a sad movie for a while, and I really appreciated that adult aspect of the story that I just didn't pick up on when I was a little kid. So I'm gonna give it a nice 6.5.
I'm gonna give it a 6 myself, because there were parts of it I didn't really love it, and now it's more like, well,
and you weren't very, very small when this movie came out either.
But it's like, I can appreciate it more for what it is. So I'll give it a 6, which leaves only one person left.
All right, Miss Alyssa.
Yes, me. I think I would probably give it close to like a 6.5 or a 7, because when I was a kid, I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. It's like the one movie that my father and I quote all the time during Christmas time. He will come up behind me and be like, "Put the cookie down!" Scare that ish out of me. But I feel like there are certain moments now that I'm older that I understood more, and I got some more of the dirty jokes, and now it just made it a little bit better for me.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and on that bombshell, which is that Jingle All The Way not only holds up, but improves.
It does.
Slightly, but it does improve with age.
Yeah, not
Yes.
vastly. It did a
Like
good job.
fine wine.
Yes.
Unlike Arnold's improv ability.
Yeah. Well, on that note, thank you both for joining us. Adam, thank you for joining us again.
Our
Alyssa,
returning
thank
visitor,
you for
yes.
giving him a ride and being stuck with us for an hour and a half.
Thank you for having me.
You haven't been recording this entire time. It's just been the three of us.
Oh,
actually,
okay.
so,
It's
yeah,
fine.
No pressure. No
Whatever.
pressure at all. But we do appreciate our brand new guest host. This has been very exciting. And our veteran returning guest host, young Adam. Thank you guys for joining us in the studio. And Hindsighters, as always, we want to check in with our guests to see if they actually have any upcoming projects before we play the music out.
No.
Because these two are actor friends. Not everybody is. So is there anything that you would like to promote now or that we can promote for you later that you just want to mention?
We have auditions coming up, so stay tuned.
Okay.
Excellent. Then
Let
I
us know so we can put it on the social media.
Yes,
For sure,
where
for
you can
sure.
find us at Hindsight is Horrifying on Instagram and Hindsight Horror on Twitter and Facebook. So thank you for joining myself, young Adam, Alyssa, and Jason. This is Hindsight, and good night.
Good night, folks.
Good night.
Good night.